Hi friends, I hope you all are doing great. It's me, Nikki here, and I'm so excited about today's video because I am going to be hiring 3 Fiverr designers to basically design my kitchen. And these 3 designers are going to be on 3 different price points. We're going to have a low price point, a mid price point, and then a higher end price point. And let's see what happens. I also want to thank my sponsors of this video, Fiverr. I have been using Fiverr for years. I love them for my business, for home, and I am so excited to be able to share them with you today if you are not already familiar. So friends, let's get started designing that kitchen. So friends, before we jump into hiring the designers and getting all in, let me just share with you the actual kind of kitchen, where we're at, all that good stuff. So as you know, Mike and I, back in the spring, we purchased our forever home that we are obsessed with. It is an older home that is just absolutely beautiful, but it needed to be updated. And so the kitchen really needed to be revamped. And it is actually a smaller kitchen, but I know once it's done, it is going to be so perfect for me and Mike and I for entertaining. And it's a galley style kitchen is what we wanted. So when you come into the kitchen, I want to show you now a before of the kitchen. And as you can see, it's extremely dated. It has this bar area that just kind of cuts the kitchen off and just not a kitchen that is what we desired. So the first thing for us was to get everything out of the space, and then to have just a blanket kitchen, an open space, so that we can then reimagine and recreate the space to fit our needs. And so once that was done and the walls were painted and the molding was put up and the floors put in, it just felt so refreshing. And it was time for us to then start mapping out kind of what I wanted, the organization, and kind of all of those elements that we have to think about when we're putting together a kitchen. Now, here's how Fiverr comes in. So I really needed that visual. I wanted to get that just visual layout so that I could see the completed kitchen and then just order the cabinets, order the appliances, and we were good to go. But we wanted to visually see our vision, basically. And so Fiverr is extremely great for that. If you have that room in your home that you struggle with, you don't know how to decorate it, you don't know how to do the furniture placement, you can go on Fiverr and you can search out a designer that will design your space for you, And so this is really great because, the price points are from low end to high end. So everyone can, they really can fit a lot of budgets. And so that's what it's neat. Everyone can't go out and hire an interior designer, but Fiverr gives you another solution. Also, it's great for that small business owner when you need your websites and your logos and you need voiceovers or editors and all of those kind of things. Fiverr has it all. You can search out so many different creatives on Fiverr and really find an affordable option for you. Now, there's some smart ways to use Fiverr that I've learned over the years, and one is to always read reviews. Also look at kind of the status of the Fiverr creative, and so that's always helpful when you do that, because you might want somebody who's a little more seasoned that has worked with a lot of customers on Fiverr, so you can kind of see their work from the customers, because you can see customer work on there. You can see their portfolio on there. They're all over the world, so you can filter down to if you only want to work with creatives in the US or in England, whatever the case may be, I chose just to keep it open worldwide. So it really is able to filter down to what you need from your budget, for the ratings that they have, for the location. So Fiverr really keeps it simple for you in that realm. So if you have that room, again, I say that you struggle with, think about checking out Fiverr and see if you can have a designer kind of help you out with that. Okay, friends, so let's jump into the first designer. This is going to be our low-end designer that I wanted to choose. I had a $50 budget, and so the first thing I did was go to Fiverr.com, and I put in what I was looking for as far as the budget, kitchen designer, everything that I was looking for. Now, one thing that I like about Fiverr too is they also let you look at the average response times of the creative, because you may have a project that you want done quickly, and if they don't respond if they don't have an average response time of a day or a couple hours, then that might not be the one for you. So that is another good little tool that they have on there that's really helpful. So when I was looking, I put in all of the things, I'm looking for that $50 price point. I'm looking for that kitchen designer and all of that. And I came upon Sharzana. And I hope I'm saying your name correctly. But when I got to her page, I really was impressed by her price point and what she provided. Like she was designing your kitchen. Basically, you're just giving her the measurements and kind of the Pinterest board so that she had a vision for what you liked. And then she would design the kitchen, and she also provided the product list. So I thought that was really good at that 50, that 50 price point. Okay, so with Sharzana, let's take a look at what she offered. And so with her $50, with the $50, I get a 2D floor plan, which a 2D floor plan is not as good as a 3D because the 3D is more realistic, but a 2D would still give me the visual. And for $50, I can understand that. And then she also includes her source file. So she's going to give you actually where the products, what products she uses, and then in your space, and then one revision. So I thought for $50, that was really good. And then she does have upgraded services where if I wanted more, I could have got more, but that I was going to stay within my budget. Also, she was quick to respond. And so that's always great. So she was really quick to respond, and she actually finished the project ahead of time. So I thought that was great. And she was so pleasant to work with, so easy to work with. She was in a different country, but there was no communication barrier there or anything. So it was just really a good experience working with her. And she really was excited. I felt like she was really excited to take on the project. And so that really felt good to me. So now let's take a look at what she actually designed for my kitchen. Okay, so when I look at what she did, I was very impressed with it because even though it was 2D, it still gave me a great visual. And I love that she also gives the floor plan. And I thought her layout was really nice. With each image, she gave me the floor plan right next to it. So you were really able to see, and she had arrows pointing to which side of the kitchen it was. And so it was just really clean and nicely done. So as you can see here, she's showing kind of one side of the kitchen where I wanted just a lot of cabinets. So one thing that, when I immediately looked at the design for this kitchen that I wanted to change was actually, I didn't want too many cabinets and cabinet doors, but I didn't express that to her. But, if I would have said, I wanted more drawers, I'm sure she would have done that. But one thing I noticed is that they're mostly cabinet doors. And in my dream kitchen, I want more open drawers. For us, it functions better, especially, you don't want to be bending down into a cabinet. So now in my kitchen, I really want more drawers as far as the organization. But as far as the layout where the stove is, I am having an Italian stove. In fact, it will be here. And by the time this video posts, it's probably going to be here. And so this is not my exact stove, but I did tell her that I was going to be getting a blue stove. And so she did add a blue stove in for me. I think that's the Smeg one that she put in there. I did not want necessarily, I'm not a fan of the open cabinets next to the stove. So, wasn't a fan of that. But overall, I love that she kind of got the gist of my Pinterest board as far as the vibe. And one thing that I like in the second image that she gave me, and that's the across, because I have a galley style kitchen that we're doing, is I love that she gave me plenty of counter space. And I love her creativity of putting the fridge more so in the secondary kitchen, because we have like the kitchen, and then we're going to have like a secondary kitchen, butler's pantry area that's connected to the kitchen. So it feels like it's just all one space, really. And so it was smart of her to really, and Mike was really impressed by that too, because we love that she didn't put the big fridge in the main galley style part of the kitchen, because it gives me more counter space. And I love the fact that I don't have a bunch of appliances in my kind of working space. So I love that she did that. That was really creative there. But again, I wanted more drawers in there. I did like how she did the center part there, but then I didn't want to take up my counter space with that. So, but I did like the look of it. And then moving into the next picture, that's when you move more into the secondary kitchen. I call it butler's pantry, secondary kitchen. And I like the cabinets, wanted drawers, of course, but the microwave oven situation was a no-go. As many appliances as I do not have to see, I don't want to see. And so we are going to panel the dishwasher so that we don't have to see that. We love the idea of the fridge being in the secondary kitchen area and having a lot of counter space. I do like how she did the fridge space because she gave me plenty of closed cabinet space there, and it's really just very clean. So also I want to say I am going to put the link to Fiverr down below, and I'll also put the 3 designers down below that I used in case you want to check them out. Okay, so let's move into the second designer that I chose. And for this budget, it is $90. And so I was very curious to get on Fiverr.com and to kind of check out who I could find in that price point and someone who can maybe give me the 3D render that I'm looking for. And so as I searched through Fiverr, found a great selection of designers, and I ran across this designer called, I think it's Saad is how you spell his name, and I don't want to pronounce it. But again, all the designers that I use, the 3 that I use, I'll put in the description box below. And then of course, I'll put Fiverr's website, my affiliate link down there for them also. But when I ran across his work, it looked so good. It looked so good. And he was a top, and let me go back to tell you exactly what they call him. So a top seller on Fiverr. So that tells me that he most likely probably does good work if he's doing great here on Fiverr, right? And so when I looked at his portfolio, one thing that I loved is that his work was very clean. It seemed in line with kind of what I would like as far as, you know, design-wise. Even though it may not have been my direct style, I just got the feeling that he would get it once I showed him my Pinterest board and also, you know, kind of the layout of the kitchen. And so his process is a little different. So once I hired him, I gave him my measurements, gave him my Pinterest. He's quick to respond. So because we had a little issue with my Pinterest link, I believe it was, but he's very responsive. So if you have an issue, he'll get right back to you, or he did with me. But his process is a little different because he will put together your design in 2D. And I guess it's because he does the render, and then you review it. And if you want to make any changes, which makes sense, they don't want to render. It takes a lot of work. So they don't want to render it and then make changes. So he sends you all of your graphics in 2D, and then he will then send it to you in 3D. So let's look at what he sent to me first. So there's 2 steps to his process. So when he sent the 2D, it looks like a sketch. And so this is what you're seeing here. Now, when I initially saw it, I was like, oh no, he put the bar across. And this is, of course, I wanted a galley style kitchen. So no bar, just kind of cabinets and stuff down one side and then down the other side. Very just clean and such a great functioning kitchen, right? Because a galley kitchen is such a nice function of being able to just really cook and maneuver in that style of kitchen. So I'm so excited about that. But when I saw the bar and the chairs, I knew that had to go. So I did tell him about that. Also, he had the stove on the opposite side of the kitchen, and the stove is not there. The stove has to go on the other side. So that was another thing. And then I didn't really like how he had the fridge and the stove on the same side. So appliance heavy. And I didn't want the kitchen, because it is a smaller kitchen. It's not a huge kitchen to where I don't want it to be just kind of overtaken by appliances. And so I noticed on one side he had like the sink, stove, and fridge. And so I felt that was just very heavy on one side. So not a fan of that. Then moving into the secondary kitchen, aka butler's pantry. I I was okay with it. We don't really need a beverage fridge per se. I think originally I was going to put one in the kitchen, then I changed my mind. And then I'm not a fan of the open shelving. I don't know that, I'm not against it. And so here's the thing I want to say. I was open to whatever the designers did because I had a vision for what I wanted to do with my kitchen, but I also wanted to see what they would come up with because that's their skill set. So I wanted to be open enough to say, hey, you just do your thing because I may see something I like the fridge being in the secondary kitchen. And then he has, I think, where you close off the coffee maker and microwave. And I did like how he incorporated the drawers because I did want more drawers. And so that wasn't present in the last designer's design. But I noticed, did utilize a lot of drawers, which I can appreciate. And so very nice SketchUp. So now, he even did even the seating area where in the kitchen on the other side, he even kind of designed that out. So now let's look at how he finished it off in 3D. Okay, friends, so now you see, here is the 3D version of what he did. And so I asked him to remove the bar because, I don't want that kind of cut off. I want the galley style. So that is what he did. And do you see the difference? Like, this is more of a realistic look versus the sketched look. And so I love the freshness of it. He has that plant in there, really spoke to me. I love the open cabinets, but then after Mike and I talked, we really didn't want to put open glass cabinets on the side with the stove, just when you're cooking and stuff. I was like, nah, let's put the glass cabinets on the other side. So that's something that I definitely would have changed there. He did put my blue stove in there, which you guys know I'm in that, even though that's not, I think that's the stove that I provided them with because I was still trying to figure out my stove situation at the time. But I have since then, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. But then for the other side, he did keep the fridge in the main kitchen part. Now he did put open shelving over the sink, and I'm not against it, but I'm not a big open shelf girl. So I don't know that I really would go with the open shelves. And I wasn't too particular about the hardware and things like that, but you can always, if you're going to work with a designer, you can always say, look, I want gold hardware, kind of the details. And I didn't provide just really those details because I want it to be open to what they created off of kind of looking at my vision board and just kind of seeing what they come up with versus just what I desire. And so as you can see, the renders just give you that more realistic look into the actual kitchen. So I thought he did a great job. He also did give me a kind of face down floor layout, and he was quick. His time was great. I think I said earlier that I thought he was a day after the deadline, but I'm wrong. When I went in there, it might have been me didn't log into the day after, but no, he did provide the service timely, and he was great to work with. So I thought for $90, it gave me the visual that I wanted. He was open to revisions, so that was great. He is a top rated seller here on Fiverr, and he's been on Fiverr since 2016. So he's really been around a long time, and so pleased with his work. Okay, so now we're going to move into our final designer, and this is on the higher end, $300. So I got on Fiverr and I started searching out a designer for $300 and one that could do the renders. Of course, I wanted the 3D renders. And when I jumped on, I initially found one designer, but he was actually honest and he said, look, I'm on vacation. I would love to do it. The only thing is my time is not going to be, I'm not going to have it to you in a decent amount of time. So I was like, no, let me go ahead and move on from that. But I do appreciate the communication and him saying that. So everyone, and I've been on Fiverr for years, and what I will say is I've never had a bad experience with a creative that I hired. Now, I've hired people and I may not have been 100% in love with what they produce for me and things like that. But that's been very few times. Most times when if I do my due diligence in looking at their portfolios and having those conversations with them, I get good results. So I'm a Fiverr fan. And so I went on to look for another designer at that $300 price point. And I came across the sweetest lady, and her name, I don't know if this is her first name or not, but it's Prodipida. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. And she was so kind and so just accommodating with wanting to do this for me. And so I was so excited to work with her because, again, looking at her portfolio, it looked really great. And let me see if she's a top rated seller. She has a 4.9 out of 5 rating, so that's really good. She's been on Fiverr since 2017. And so these are the things, I'm saying this to you because when you're looking for your creative to hire, these are the things you want to look at. If they've been on Fiverr a good while, they're top rated, look at their client reviews, customer reviews, and so it really can help you have a good result. And so we went back and forth really briefly, and she was good. One thing I will say about her is she really wanted you to know what you were getting, the timeline, and making sure that you were okay with that before you even purchased. And so I really appreciate that. So you didn't just kind of jump in and then be like, oh, you're not going to do this. So she was very clear with kind of her delivery time, what she can do, da 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 da. So it really was, I really appreciated that from her. And so let's take a look at kind of what she did for my kitchen. When I looked at what she did with the kitchen, the initial picture, I was like, oh, that's very nice. One, I love that she got it with the drawers. And I didn't even express that. And I don't know if they saw that in the Pinterest designs maybe, but she did pick up on that. And so you see, she did a good bit of drawers, which I appreciated. Another thing that I appreciated about her design is that she kept with the galley kitchen. And then she also gave me the glass cabinets on the proper side. So I love that she put all glass cabinets on the sink side and not on the stove side. So she hit the mark on what I kind of envisioned without even saying that. On the second picture, because I get 3, so on the second picture, I just love the visual of looking into the secondary kitchen, butler's pantry, however we want to call it. And it just really just made me feel good because I was like, oh, I can't wait to see this come to life. And I loved seeing all of the glass cabinets because I do want a good bit of, glass to be able to just display some of my things. I thought she did a beautiful job with the sink area in the secondary kitchen. And love the tall cabinet there. Wasn't sure if I would do the tall cabinet because I do want more counter space. I'm all about the counter space in this kitchen, but I tell you, out of all 3, I really was drawn into kind of what she did, and her renders are just beautiful. As you can see here, she gave me another visual from another direction in the kitchen so that I could get a feel for it. Of course, she put my blue stove in there. That's not my exact stove. My stove is an Italian stove, and it's really beautiful. I can't wait to share it with you, but it is kind of a gray bluish color. It's really pretty. But I love what she did. I think it's really clean. It's beautiful. I love the drawers. I love the glass on one side, and I think she did a beautiful job there. She did show the kitchen table, and that is where it is located, but the furniture is not kind of the style that I would want to go with. The light fixture is not the style that I would go with. Okay with that because I got that part. I just want to see the kitchen like with the cabinets and how it will come to life. And I think out of all 3, hers honestly were my favorite. So when I looked at it, though, it's the one that I resonated with me as far as being my kitchen, even though it's, she has gold handles on, mine's are going to be chrome, but it's the little things. But overall, just the design of the kitchen, I really felt a connection to. So friends, those were the 3 designers on Fiverr.com, 3 different price points. And I have to say, I am loving this as a service. So if you have that space that you struggle with or you want to see a visual with, I think it could be a great option to go to Fiverr and utilize their services. And again, it's not limited to just that. If you need just all kinds of things, just go there and just look around and just see all the stuff they have. You will be so impressed. And I, again, will leave the link to Fiverr down below. It is my affiliate link. So I am an ambassador with Fiverr because I have been using them for years. And if I'm an ambassador, you know I am a fan of the company. So I will put that down below. And again, I will put the list of my 3 designers that I use. And I want to thank them for just being so great in working with me. And they weren't even aware that I was doing this, but they were just, that's their natural customer service. So really, really nice. I hope you all are doing great, and stick with me so that you can see the finished results when Mike and I finish the kitchen. Have a beautiful day, my friends. I will see you at the next video. And this is Nikki saying goodbye.